Sounds great.
Good evening, Bahamas. You're tuned into NB12, broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. Coming up tonight in news, early voting in the gambling referendum, and Prime Minister Perry Christie is encouraging Bahamians to exercise their rights. This while admitting he's unsure of how many people are actually employed by web shops. PLP Chairman Bradley Roberts admits he made a big mistake. The Hotel Union sets an election date, plus Caribbean Marketplace opens. We've got those stories and so much more coming up. I'm Paige McCartney, and NB12 starts right now. Once again to NB12. Thousands of Bahamians were expected to cast their ballots in the advance poll of the gaming referendum today. Among them was Prime Minister Perry Christie. Christina McNeil was there just minutes after he cast his vote. Here's her report.
7 days left until Bahamians go to the polls to vote in the gaming referendum, and Prime Minister Perry Christie is encouraging Bahamians to vote with their conscience. This after Progressive Liberal Party Chairman Bradley Roberts yesterday changed the position the party has taken in the run-up to the January 28th referendum.
NB12 caught up with Prime Minister Perry Christie just minutes after he cast his vote at the College of the Bahamas Poll Center. Christie, who was accompanied by his wife Bernadette, says he expects the voice of the Bahamian people to be heard when they go to the polls. As for the government's position on the referendum, Christie says the Bahamian people should have already heard that government does not have a horse in the race.
People are hopefully going to vote today in accordance with their own conscience and what they believe, as I did. And, it will wait for the results after the 28th to see exactly what the people have said. Whether you're a PLP or you're an F&M, I put them in a position where I said I did not have a horse, and speaking for the government, in this race. But people who are PLPs, people who are FNMs, people who are in the cabinet, people out of the cabinet must vote their conscience. That's how it is. And that's how I tried to keep it that way. And I was only interested in doing that if I thought I had to correct some impressions that they created about what my position was. I have elected at this point not to get involved. If I'm asked, I would speak to the issue. But it is what it is right now.
Hours after PLP Chairman Bradley Roberts yesterday announced that the PLP is urging Bahamians to see the broader national picture and vote yes, Roberts released a statement clarifying that the party is in fact encouraging Bahamians to vote according to their conscience. Our news team today asked Christie if he asked the chairman to clarify his statements. Here's his response.
I don't have to tell the chairman anything. The chairman knows my position. He knows the position I've articulated. The public knows my position. And so whatever the chairman did and undid, that's what it is. No. The answer to the question is no. I have not spoken to the chairman. I didn't speak to him before he made his speech to the women's branch. I did not speak to him after he made his speech. I did not speak to him this morning. So the answer is no.
Meanwhile, Gaming Board Chairman Dr. Andre Rollins also spoke out on the referendum yesterday, calling the process awkward and untidy. Rollins says it has admittedly taken far too long for any government to muster the political will and courage to police the unregulated gaming activity, but it cannot be argued that 50-plus years is insufficient time to know whether or not something should be regulated or taxed for the benefit of the country and people. Today, Christie said he intends to speak with Rollins regarding those statements.
I'm always disappointed when there's political commentary that amounts to a negative on a process that I'm responsible for. But Andre Rollins is an elected member of Parliament. He must obviously be responsible and accountable for all that he says. I assume he's reflecting honestly his point of view. I would be prepared to discuss it with him, and as I will, to ask him where in fact the awkwardness that he saw is, so that I could see exactly what he was thinking of.
Christie says he expects that there will always be criticism from the opposition and others expressing their opinion. But he says at the end of the day, the votes cast today will be added to those that will be cast on January 28th, and the will of the Bahamian people will be made public in regard to gaming and a national lottery. Reporting for NB12, I'm Christina McNeil.
Well, it was a slow start to the advanced poll at New Providence polling locations. Dozens of Vote Yes supporters were spread across the sidewalk at both the Kendall G. L. Isaacs Gymnasium and the College of the Bahamas polling centers. Volunteer with the Vote Yes campaign, Valentine Grimes, says he believes the campaign has done a good job of getting the message out, especially as it pertains to the number of jobs that can be saved if Bahamian people vote yes.
The objective is just to show our support for the yes vote, and hopefully those persons voting today will have some appreciation of what we are trying to accomplish. I think by and large, basically our position is that these entities have been unregulated for all these years. There's been a vast proliferation of them in the last 3 years prior to the PLP coming to power, under the Referendum government, by the way, and we just think the time has come to regulate them.
Well, legal advisor for the Vote No campaign, Carol Mishevich, says while the numbers on the side of yes look greater today, the Vote No campaign has had tremendous support in the lead up to the advanced poll.
It's kind of exciting, you know, you look across at the Vote Yes campaign and they have quite a number of persons. I don't know how many of them are maybe paid to be there or just, you know, maybe they're just fortunate that they don't have any other obligations at this time that allows them to be there. And that's fine, but we've had very good showing for the other activities that we've had, and we've been doing door-to-door campaigning as well, walkabouts, community involvement.
Well, both sides intend to kick their campaigns into high gear this week with rallies scheduled for this weekend. 6,519 applications were accepted for the advanced poll. There are currently 173,591 Bahamians registered to vote, but about 1,000 people have registered since the May 2012 general election. Well, as far as web shop jobs go, Prime Minister Christie today admitting that he doesn't know, in fact, the exact number of web shop employees and was relying on information from the Ministry of Finance. Speaking with NB12 shortly after casting his vote today, Christie said he's been receiving information regarding the number of employees from the Financial Secretary in the Ministry of Finance. This after Pastor Lyle Bethel, who's a part of the Vote No campaign, yesterday noted that according to a source within the National Insurance Board, web shop bosses have only made NIB contributions on behalf of fewer than 700 employees.
I heard a pastor say that I was just mouthing what the web shop operator said as to the amount of people who work in this business. They're going to be shocked to know the amount of people who work in this business. The government can't afford to be shocked. We have to be in a position to deal with the outcome of this vote. And there are going to be a lot of people who are displaced if, in fact, there is a negative vote. And we have to deal with it. I can't run away and say that the Lord will provide. Yes, the Lord will provide, but the government is expected to govern this country in the right way. I'm saying that the number amounts to thousands. Exactly how much? I don't know. I was relying on figures given to me by the Financial Secretary, who had been negotiating with them from 2010. Okay, who had prepared the legislation, who had accepted the figures, who had gone into these web shops, looked at it and so on. So all of the information I provided Parliament was based on the advice I got as the Minister of Finance from the Financial Secretary, who had the responsibility and continues with the responsibility for this matter.
While Christie says NIB contributions are not made for all employees, the 3,000 reported jobs that can be saved by regulating web shop gaming has been a major campaign issue for the Vote Yes group and one that Christie has expanded on. Well, when he issued that statement contradicting his initial remarks, Bradley Roberts insists he wasn't flip-flopping but simply used the wrong words. He says his personal view is that Bahamians should vote yes, something he admits he did not make clear when speaking to the PLP's women's branch. However, the Free National Movement believes Roberts meant just what he said when he announced that the PLP wants a yes vote. Bonnie Toot reports.
Progressive Liberal Party Chairman Bradley Roberts claims he made a mistake when he announced that the governing party is encouraging all Bahamians to vote yes in next week's gambling referendum. He told NB12 he noticed this mistake after his colleagues brought it to his attention.
I used the wrong words, yes. One of my colleagues who read the speech and said, Bradley, excellent speech, but you made one a mistake. The party's position, as you know, is X, Y, and Z. And he was correct.
Roberts made it clear the colleague who pointed out the error was not Prime Minister Christie. He says he was expressing his point of view while speaking at the PLP's Women's Branch meeting, adding that he should have made that clear at the time, hence the statement he sent out hours later. The Prime Minister has stated on numerous occasions that government has no horse in the race. However, Roberts says he believes the majority of his colleagues will vote yes.
I would think that the majority, some will not be. Some may be abstaining from it because of their religious beliefs, which they are entitled to.
Considering the PLP chairman expects most of them to vote yes on referendum day, wouldn't it seem as if government is pushing a yes vote? Roberts says no, insisting that we live in a democracy and every individual is entitled to an opinion.
I noticed that a junior minister on his Facebook page is saying no. Those of you who are astute and following what the individuals are doing, you would have seen that. I saw it last week. He's entitled to that. And I applaud him for it.
However, Free National Movement Chairman Darren Cash isn't buying it. He says Roberts' comments prove that government does in fact have a horse in the race.
The fact that the Bahamian people are seeing a continued flip-flopping and an inability of the Progressive Liberal Party and government to get their story straight is indicative of the fact that they have not been straight with the Bahamian people from the very start.
Prime Minister Christie told reporters he was not aware of Roberts' comments. Cash says he finds that troubling.
I know nothing. I know nothing of what my party is doing. I know nothing of what my ministers are doing. I just know nothing. And that is very troubling because at this point the Bahamian people want leadership from the Prime Minister, and the mess and confusion that they're seeing today is indicative of a Prime Minister that is just far too disengaged.
Cash also defended party leader Dr. Hubert Minnis, whom Roberts accused of being a flip-flopper. The F&M chairman says they are not telling people how to vote, but they're hoping most Bahamians will vote no to both questions on referendum day to force government to go back to the drawing board and get this process right. Reporting for NB12, I'm Vonique Tude.